After the flood, the earth began to fill again. From the sons of Noah, new generations spread across the world. And very soon, the same divide that had existed before the flood began to appear again. Some still feared God and remembered His ways. Others wanted freedom from Him. For a time, the descendants of Noah remained together. But as their numbers increased, many grew tired of the influence of those who still honored the Lord. They did not want to be reminded of God's authority. They did not want their lives restrained by His commands. So they chose to separate. They journeyed to the plain of Shinar, a rich and beautiful land near the Euphrates. And there they decided to build, not just homes, not just a city. They would build a monument to themselves, a city that would keep them united, a tower that would make their name great, a kingdom built on human pride. God had instructed mankind to spread out over the earth, to fill it and govern it. But the builders of Babel did not want to scatter. They wanted to remain together, to gather their power in one place, and to establish a society that would stand independent of God. Their city would be the center of their strength. Their tower would be the symbol of their greatness. And deep within it all was rebellion. Some of them denied God altogether. Others still believed He existed, but they rose up against Him in their hearts. They did not trust His promise that the world would never again be destroyed by a flood. So one purpose of the tower was to secure themselves against another judgment. If waters ever came again, they thought they could climb above them. And if they could rise high enough into the heavens, perhaps they could discover the secrets of the skies themselves. Their project was driven by pride, fear, self-exaltation, and distrust of God. As the work advanced, their confidence grew. Part of the tower was already being used. Some rooms served as dwellings. Others were richly adorned and dedicated to idols. The people celebrated their progress. They praised gods of silver and gold. And with every stone they raised, they pushed the knowledge of the true God farther from their minds. There were still some among them who feared the Lord, but many of these had been swept along by the confidence and ambition of the crowd. Some were deceived by the promises being made. Others were reluctant to resist the movement. So God in mercy gave them time. He allowed their plans to reveal what was in their hearts. And what became clear was this: if Babel continued unchecked, it would spread corruption through the whole young world. This was not merely a building project. It was an organized attempt to build society without God, to unite mankind in rebellion, and to replace His rule with human pride. So the Lord stepped in. The tower had risen to a great height. The builders had organized the work carefully. Because those at the top could not hear those below, messages were passed from one level to another. Then suddenly, everything changed. God confused their language. Men called for materials they did not need. Orders were misunderstood. Instructions came back distorted. What had worked smoothly collapsed into confusion. No one could understand why the other was speaking strangely. Voices rose. Frustration turned to anger. Anger turned to shouting. Shouting turned to violence. The unity that had held them together was broken in a moment. Then the judgment became unmistakable. The power of God was revealed. The upper part of the tower was struck down, and the proud work of their hands came crashing to the ground. At last they were forced to recognize that there is a God who rules in heaven. Those who could still understand one another gathered into groups, and from there they scattered. Some went one way, some another. And so, by the very event that shattered their plans, God accomplished His original purpose. The nations spread across the earth. The builders of Babel had tried to prevent the world from scattering, but their rebellion became the means by which the earth was filled. What shame came upon them! Their great monument to human glory became a memorial of human pride and human folly. And yet, Babel was not just a story about the past. Its spirit lives on wherever men trust themselves above God, wherever human wisdom is lifted above His word, wherever people seek safety, meaning, and greatness apart from obedience to Him. The principle behind Babel was the same spirit that began in heaven with Satan and later showed itself in Cain. It is the desire to exalt self, reject God's authority, and build life on human terms. But God is still the ruler of heaven and earth. He bears long with human rebellion. He gives time for repentance, but He does not surrender His throne. Again and again, His unseen hand restrains evil. Again and again, He reminds the world that no power can stand against His will. The plans of proud men rise high for a time, but in the end, it is the counsel of the Lord that stands. The tower fell, the people scattered, and the earth moved forward under the hand of God. But humanity had not yet learned the danger of pride or the cost of building without Him. Next time, God calls Abraham.